Morning. Today we talk food. I got a story for you, and then we're going to throw together a recipe, let you actually see something. So, stay tuned. See you in a bit. In my opinion, food and music are the two biggest unifiers and also the two biggest polarizers. Meat, vegan, country, rock, rap, yeah, you can figure that out. Many times, though, the mention of one can start a negative line of thought that can get quite heated. Either way you go at it. And in the same circle, a slight difference, some little details or some commonality can make two people realize how close they are and bring out memories and small world type scenarios that they have in common. Well, regions are known for certain things. Some are distinctively located. For instance, Philly cheesesteaks, New England clam chowder, Chicago deep dish pizza. Barbecue has been labeled as Southern, and as food has become more and more prevalent in the world, Food Network, etc., we get regional lines of it even. Carolina, Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and of course Memphis. Now, maybe I'm a little partial, but the Barbecue Fest is a regional and a regular Memphis event for Memphis in May, and competitors from all over come to compete. Okay, even seafood gets its labels as regional: Atlantic, Pacific, Gulf. Yeah, which is not a bad thing. Pride in your roots can be a good thing. Now, I love a glass of sweet tea, and I'm talking sweet tea, plate of barbecue, mac and cheese, collard greens, yes. But I'm not here to talk about barbecue today. We'll do another episode one day and talk barbecue because I'm originally from Tennessee. In fact, I was a media rep back in the day and went to all the events in Memphis in May when I was living there. I'm not talking about barbecue today, though. I'm going to tell you a story I have told many times. I'm sure a few of the facts have lost their detail over the years, and a few of the details have grown in importance, but that's how stories go. That's how tradition happens. There may be a few details that might offend people as well, the way I tell the story, but remember, this story comes with respect and admiration for all involved and everything. I remember that's why I'm telling this story. And I'm sharing this story for the reason that I hope y'all have the same admiration, hope y'all try this, and hope y'all enjoy it as much as I do. So, back in the day, I lived in Memphis. Okay, at the time I had a girlfriend in Memphis. I lived in Nashville, moved to Memphis, girlfriend and a job. Had a girlfriend in Memphis. Was quite close and with their parents, her parents as well. And in fact, this had a lot of memories with eating this dish with her mother. Okay, she'd be working, and I'd go over to their house, waiting for her to get off work and eat dinner. So, as I was thinking about telling this story, I decided to try and research and look up a few details to give credit where credit was due. It turns out there have been some big changes in Memphis. I know that happens. This is, let's back this up, and this would have been late 90s, right before 2000, right before the millennial. So I'm thinking 97, 98, if I remember correctly. Okay. So it turns out, doing my research, even though a lot of things have changed, there were a few details that I was able to nail. And I'm figured and looked and all that, but there's a few of them I had wrong as well. Well, I've told this story many a time over the years. For that reason, I'll be telling the story as I've always told it. Now, there are a few specific details that I will be leaving out, and the reason I'm leaving those out is since this is an online, since it's a bigger network, and people will do their thing. If you happen to know certain details, that will confirm, and I'll be able to tell. Because there's a few certain details I'm going to leave out that I know. That'll be it. Okay? So, here we go. Hope you enjoy the story. After the story, we're going to go cook this. So, when I lived in Memphis, I moved down there for a girlfriend and a job, and the job I had, I was ended up being a driver and a shipping receiving manager for a certain company. A whole nother story, but that basically I was a glorified driver, plus I did other things. Well, we were a manufacturing company, a CNC manufacturing company. The company's no longer in business. They've gotten bought out by someone else. The company manufactured metals, and you had drill bits and stuff like that. And there was regularly they would send me to this location to go have drill bits sharpened. And most of the time it was, here, go drop this off on the runs. I'd go drop it off and I'd go back another day. Well, the location was block off Bill Street. And regularly it was go drop this off. But this day they said, go drop this off and wait for it. We got to have this back today. Hey, lunchtime. I'm going to stop and have lunch while I'm out. Okay. Well, at the time, I really wasn't worried about it. There's lots of places near downtown Memphis to eat, and there's lots of places to eat in Memphis. There's a barbecue joint just up off the interstate on a major strip that is very common. It's been on Food Network a billion times. Eat there many a time myself. But this place, I went up Elvis Presley Boulevard, cruised right on up there, as I recall, and went up to this location, dropped off the drill bit, and the road turned one way. As I recall, you come to this intersection, the road turns one way, and you go up to the stop and drop it off, and then I circle the block, and on the corner there, where the road turns one way, was this little building. Now, this was a little mom and pop, hole in the wall. I don't even remember seeing a sign. Glass front windows that I think were even covered up from the inside, and on the side there was one side door. How did I know it was a restaurant? Well, when you pull up to a location, or you pass the location, you see police cars, medical, utility trucks, construction trucks, truck drivers. You see the working people, and what I saw was all these working trucks and people coming out with the brown paper bags. I knew, hey, I'm gonna stop there. So I went and dropped my drill bit off, circled the block, pulled in there, and walked up to the door. I think, hey, I'm gonna go eat me some lunch. I got whatever time to kill. Walk in the door, and boom, there's the line. I mean, literally, I walked in the door, and there's the line, and there's a counter on my right, and there's a guy in front of me, and I'm going, okay. And the best way I can describe it is the guy, there's a glass counter, and there's a lady making stuff, and there's a griddle back there, and the counter goes up and around, and there's stuff made. It looked to me like there was like deli type, hot plates up there. But no, everybody was ordering right here. And the best way I can describe her is Aunt Jemima. She was a black lady, Southern hospitality, but in control. And you walk up to the counter, and you could see everybody ahead of me. Darling, what you have? Okay, boom, boom, boom. Baby, what you need today? Boom, 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 boom. Darling, what you want today? Boom, 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 boom. And the guy in front of me, darling, what you gonna have? And boom, boom, boom. And it came to me. And I'm sure there was a menu. As I recall, I think there was some sort of menu up there, but it was handwritten and probably been there since the place was built. I didn't remember, and I couldn't tell what was what. So, darling, what you need, darling? I'll have the same. Order what was in front of me. Hey, whatever. You want so-and-so? Yep. You want so? Yep. At this point, I still had no idea what I was ordering. No idea what I was getting. I didn't know. Now, so she's all right. And you kind of scoot on up. Next guy. Well, there's a guy behind her. And as she would go, darling, what you need? So-and-so, so-and-so, so. Okay. Da-da-da-da. And she'd go back to next. And she'd lay out a few things. So, for instance, at this point, she'd take 2 slices of bread. And she'd lay them over here. And I think they were toasted. As I recall, they were toasted. But they may not have been. It may have been that something I added later on. We're going to do that. But I feel like he was the guy behind her on the griddle that she was mentioning to was toasting them, or had a toaster, or somebody else had a toaster, and they would lay them down, and then she would add stuff to them and lay them aside, and that'd be the order line. The line would be moving along. So the first thing I saw was the bread come back, and the bread, and one side of that bread she'd put mayonnaise on, and the other side of the bread, grape jelly, and they moved aside. Okay, well, the guy behind would take an egg, crack it on the grill, boom. He'd take one of those link types, long circle, or I'm not going to mention the name. If they want to sponsor me, you give me a call. We're going to cook some. But you take one of those sausages, split it in half, lay it flat side down, get it on the griddle, start getting it browned. She'd move on, and it would just keep moving. She'd have a little piece of like wax paper, parchment paper under the paper, slide them on down, keep on moving. He'd get that egg, and he'd cook it up, and he'd lay that on the mayonnaise side. But right before he he'd do it, square it, flip it, do it. A little bit of soul seasoning, as I recall, or maybe something. Put a slice of cheese on that. Let that cheese start to melt. Lay that on the mayonnaise side. Cheese side up. Cheese is good and hot at this point. Keep that cheese going. At about the same time, that sausage side went flat side down on that grape jelly. And then you put the two together. And the cheese would melt into the sausage because it was still hot on both sides and would kind of hold it together. The grape jelly would get in all with those juices and that grease from the sausage, and you get it going. You put them together, you wrap it up, you put it in a paper bag, you send it down the line. Now that was pretty fast. Now I talk fast, I know, but that's about how fast they're moving. Because that line was at the door, people were walking up as quick as I was, but as quick as I was walking up, there were people walking out the line with a paper bag and walking out. Now, there's probably a half a dozen tables in this place, all of them full. I don't recall anything going with it. I recall moving up and getting my sandwich, which, as I recall, was cheap. It was a good price. I don't recall now, but I do recall it was not a bad price at the time. It was, hey, that's a good cheap meal. That single sandwich was good enough too that you didn't need extra with it. It was a meal in itself. So I got my sandwich and I went back out to my truck. Like, I'm going to kill some time. I went out and ate this. And it was a little messy, but it had that paper there. And my mouth is watering just thinking about it. Okay? When we're cooked it, you're going to see. And you got to try it yourself. And many times over the years, that was my go-to show someone a southern meal. Show someone a southern food. So let's go cook it. Let's go eat it. Now I got my mouth watering. I'm ready to eat it. I'm hungry. I'm going to show you this food. Here we go. The sausage, egg, cheese sandwich is done. I'm just going to let that run. And I'm going to eat me some sandwich. Because, man, soft, yet some crisp. Ooey gooey, cheesy, sweet yet savory. Now, the regular name brand sausage links, you cut one of those in half and it'll almost cover a whole slice of bread. This brand, you had to go 2 of them, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think the thinness may be even better. Don't forget your Southern Sweet Tea, your lemonade, for sure. Oh yeah. It's just, yeah. Hadn't had one in a while. And oh man. Hadn't had one in a while. When I thought about doing this video and thought about making this and telling the story, I'm like, ooh, yeah, I hadn't had one in a while. Sounds good. But man, I mean, just look. The egg, the cheese, now, if you do your bread a little more toasted, you can get by with a little more goo on it. Because even now you can tell it's soft on the outside. But you still get that crisp from the toast. But as I recall, the restaurant one was definitely more mayonnaise and more grape jelly. But I think the bread was a little thicker, and it may have been actually toaster toasted, not griddle toasted. I think there's a difference there. Sausage is bigger, of course. Now, I think when I walked in there and she asked me, would you like, was the mayonnaise and the grape jelly. I think that was the optional add-ons, because you could do this egg, sausage, cheese. I think the grape jelly and the mayonnaise is the extras, and maybe even what flavors of jelly. I think I've had this with like a strawberry, but nothing more. So, either way, oh, so good. back in the day, when I was working those kind of jobs, just this would be lunch. No heavy fast food. And in fact, could be considered heavy, but it doesn't really hit you as heavy sometimes if you do the balance right. And back in the day when I was doing the job, even just this by itself would be plenty, but to tide you over, but not be so heavy like going out to lunch or something like it could be. I think I could have done a little bit more grape jelly on this one though. But I'm a Southern boy. I like my sweet. Oh. The egg may have even been like an over medium before, so it was a little more runny. I think every time I've made it since, I've always kind of made it like a scramble, just to settle it down, make it cleaner. Because if you do this one heavy, put the mayonnaise on, put the big sausages, do the grape jelly, a little bit more egg, do the egg, over medium maybe. This can get to be a finger sandwich. I mean, it can get to be a greaser. That bite and that crunch out of the sausage is just, gotta love that. Now, a lot of times I've also done Colby Jack or provolone lately. Haven't done American in a while because we don't do those packages usually. We usually get real cheese from the deli, and I think that actually made this a lot better, doing the real cheese American, yellow American from the deli. So, sounds good, looks good, go out and try it yourself. I don't think you'd be disappointed. Either way, did a little research and found that where I think the location was, or where it is kind of thing, is no longer there. The location where I took the drill bits is pretty much right where I thought it would be. I think I had my street names wrong, but from what I was looking at, found my place, looked down the street, something's off, some things have changed. But either way, enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget, shoot, eat, repeat.